So we are getting closer and closer to October 8th, which means the release of the Switch OLED model. And with that, we are starting to see the first hands-on images as it is now on display in Japan. And I want to share my impressions of the images that we've seen with you guys. And then the big talking point for today's video is, as we are now further into the month of September, there is a lot of talk and speculation around the fact that maybe we will not see Nintendo hold a direct this month. And I want to share my opinion on that and whether or not we can still expect an official announcement for a Nintendo Direct around the corner. What's up, nation? If it's your first time on the channel, make sure you join Sunbro Nation by subscribing below. Hit the like button on this video if you enjoy it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. As I mentioned, guys, we're covering a couple different topics today. The first of which is actually one that I'm surprisingly getting more and more hyped about the closer that we are to release, and that is around the Nintendo Switch OLED model. Because if you guys have been around on the channel for a while, you'll probably remember me really expecting this to have the performance improvement like a lot of us did, according to the Bloomberg reports that said that, you know, in docked mode that we would probably have 4K support and it would be done via DLSS technology. And when that did not happen, but we got the better, bigger display, I was pretty torn on the actual announcement itself, as it's just like, come on, Nintendo, I want to play these beautiful Switch games in 4K, and I really wanted this to be a performance improvement. But I did go ahead and pre-order one myself just out of sheer hype for the, you know, I still have a base model original OG Switch, and I was just ready to get it upgraded to something different, as I did not pick up even a V2 with the better battery life, or I didn't pick up a Switch Lite, as I just don't play the Switch in handheld all that much. But now that we are getting closer to October 8th, I'm starting to find myself super hyped, not only for the, you know, release of Metroid Dread, but just for how this OLED screen is going to look hands-on. And, you know, I started thinking about it, and maybe the reason I don't play my Switch in handheld very much is because the screen's slightly too small and it just doesn't look that great in handheld. So I'm starting to get more and more pumped for this myself, but I do want to show you guys on screen the images now that are officially posted, as over in Tokyo in the Nintendo store, they now have an official promotional display for the Switch OLED model. And these are the first images we've actually seen of this console that's outside of like the marketing material and the trailer that we've seen around Switch OLED. So of course you're not going to see the vibrance of the screen itself through images like this, because it just a camera capturing another screen and then you going through another monitor to then look at that picture is not going to do it justice. But it does just look beautiful seeing it up on the wall on display. The new dock definitely makes it look significantly more modern, and there's still a lot of talk and speculation around the dock itself, because obviously we have the now ability to update the dock firmware, and it only is supported on this new dock. And you kind of have split reactions on what that might really mean. I mean, some people are saying, well, listen, now we have an Ethernet port and that chip could easily need a firmware upgrade at some point, and that's all this is. And then you have others speculating that maybe there's some hidden horsepower in there that we don't know about, because there were a lot of data miners and leakers saying that this 4K support could come in the future through a dock update. So we'll all have to wait and see on that. I'm kind of torn on this thing myself. I mean, I think we can officially say what the firmware update's going to mean once we actually get the dock in hand, because then people are going to, of course, tear it apart and they're going to see if there's any kind of internals in that dock that could essentially help with a graphics upgrade or not. And I'm kind of leaning my expectations to not expect any of that, just because from a marketing perspective, I don't think Nintendo would not throw the 4K logo on the box of this thing to sell it if, you know, it's actually capable of doing it. So who knows, maybe this is for, you know, a later on Switch revision though. That's the other talking point. Like maybe we don't get anything out of the OLED model, but maybe next year, similar to how Nintendo released new 3DS lines, you know, it was like every year or every other year, we would get some kind of slight revision and sometimes graphics upgrades in those DS lines. You know, they could be doing something similar with the Switch, and maybe the next model is the one that you would essentially need to do some kind of firmware upgrade with the dock. But that's all hearsay, and that's all just up for debate and speculation right now. I would love to know from you guys what your personal thoughts are, and if you're kind of like me, where, you know, maybe whenever you initially ordered this thing, if you decided to get one at all, that at first you weren't that hyped, and now that we're getting close to the release date, maybe you're finding yourself more hyped like me. So I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on all things Switch OLED in the comments down below. But make sure you do share those before you leave the video. Now, next up, I really want to update you guys and share my opinions around the fact of whether or not we will see Nintendo still put on a September Nintendo Direct, as obviously history tells us that it is going to happen, but we do typically also see them happen in the earlier part of September, and we are now clearly in the back half of September at the time of filming this video. So I want to talk about what does that mean, because I'm definitely starting to see some opinions change in the comments and then just online as a whole, as a lot of fans are saying, well, Nintendo would have announced it, they would have done it already by now if we were going to get a September Nintendo Direct at all. So I kind of want to share my updated thoughts now that we're clearly further into the month of September, and I was among the camp that was expecting it to take place earlier, as where I want to start off the conversation is just the history of Nintendo Direct. So I actually have the exact dates for the last 5 years. Now, they did skip a Nintendo Direct in 2015 for the month of September, but that was also unfortunately a sad time because it was Mr. Iwata's passing, and he is obviously the president of Nintendo at that time, and he also was heavily involved in Nintendo Directs. And I think that it was pretty clear, Nintendo never officially said this, but for most fans it was pretty clear that out of respect for him that they were not going to hold that event, as his passing was very close to when we would have seen something like a September Direct in the year of 2015. Now, since then, every single date that has come out has been, like I said, in the first half of September, but I do want to share the exact dates with you guys. So in 2016, we actually got it on September 1st. In 2017, it was September 13th. In 2018, it was also September 13th. In 2019, it was on September 4th. And then in 2020, it was obviously a different year, as this was the first year of the pandemic, and we got a dedicated Direct for Mario's 35th anniversary on September 3rd. And then we got a Direct mini partner showcase on September 17th, which is definitely the latest in the month that they've typically done those Directs. And it was not a full-blown Direct, it was a mini partner showcase. Now, the biggest reason that I still think that we can expect it to take place in September, or you could have the conversation, maybe they kick it to October, but the thing is either way, we're going to get one before the holiday season, because from a marketing perspective, Nintendo is not going to hype up all their fans with a bunch of new Q4 titles and then do no major presentation to get eyeballs to promote those titles right before they release. Historically, there's a reason they always hold them around this time of year, and that is because all things retail, gaming, you name it, anything in the shopping industry at all goes through the roof whenever you talk about Christmas time and Black Friday season shopping and everybody trying to get the deals and get gifts for each other. I mean, all this stuff blows up around this time of year, and so companies try to capitalize on that and take advantage and tell their consumers why to go pick up their products first. And Nintendo could also be holding it back into a later time frame for the month, just simply for the fact that they want to remind people right before the OLED drops on October 8th that, by the way, there's a Switch revision and you guys should go pick it up on day one. So there's a lot of different reasons on why it might be a later time slot this month. But at this point in time, we essentially have 2 weeks to watch for, as we have this upcoming week. It is Saturday, September 18th at the time of filming this video. And we're going to have this whole upcoming Monday through Friday to watch for an announcement. And then we're also going to have the following week. And obviously September ends on a Thursday in that following week. So the history of how Nintendo typically announces mainline Directs is that it is 2 days before the showcase takes place. So that would mean that, something like a Monday or Tuesday of next week, we could get an announcement, then see it go on that Wednesday or Thursday. Some people in the comments have said like, oh, I think Nintendo will do it on a Friday. Well, historically, because of time zones and things like that, Nintendo always likes to hold their Directs right in the middle of the week, Wednesday and Thursday, or even sometimes a Tuesday being the most likely days that we see that take place. So I'm definitely going to be watching my news sources from Tuesday to Thursday for that to take place. So I'm watching Nintendo's Twitter account like religiously at this point, just waiting for that tweet to pop up to say that they will have some kind of Direct presentation. And maybe it is a Direct mini, maybe they don't have a bunch of stuff to show us, but they're still going to show us something before the holiday season. And I do think that, I tend to believe a lot of the rumors out there around there being some games in development that we did not see announced at Nintendo's E3 because they probably just weren't ready to show off at that E3 Direct yet, such as, you have the reports that were corroborated by multiple sources that said that we'll probably have some kind of 2.5D Donkey Kong to look forward to, and it's most likely being worked on by the same team as Mario Odyssey, or at least the same company that developed Mario Odyssey is actually working on this Donkey Kong game, and it's going to be something different than the country series that we've seen up to this point on the newer platforms. So that's going to be an exciting one that we could see as a show closer. You also have a lot of talks about Kirby actually getting a 3D game and kind of evolving to the future of the series because of multiple interviews with the development team for Kirby. And it does sound like whatever we see announced next for Kirby will be a big new direction. You recently had Platinum Games update the status of Bayonetta 3 and really just say for fans to keep waiting, but this time they literally passed the responsibility of them not showing that trailer to Nintendo, literally just saying it's not up to us to show this game, and that, you know, hopefully fans will continue to be patient and will cheer them on along the way as they are in the ending stages of development. Now, there's some kind of back and forth around whether or not they're just lying and they are actually having development problems with the game, or if they really are ready to go and, you know, maybe it's 3 to 6 months away and Nintendo is going to dictate when we actually see gameplay footage. And if you take the interview at face value, that's what it sounded like. We then had the recent data miners discover that Mario Kart Tour also has Mario Kart 8 Deluxe folders in the update, and it's actually coming up on the 2nd anniversary for Mario Kart Tour. So there's some speculation around what that means. Like, why is there a folder that's referencing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe when Mario Kart Tour is its own separate game? Is it some kind of cross-talk that's going to start happening between the games, or more likely because Mario Kart 8 continues to freaking sell like mad wildfire, like we're probably not going to get Mario Kart 9 anytime soon, so maybe it's an update with some new Mario Kart Tour tracks in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So you could feature all those kind of big new announcements at something like a September Nintendo Direct. I definitely think we won't see all of them. Like, some of them will probably be saved for their February Nintendo Direct like we typically see them hold. But then in addition to that, they're going to want to update us on the existing games that are already going to be coming out this holiday season. Like, we definitely need to see more on Mario Party Superstars. We have Shin Megami Tensei 5, all the Pokemon games that may or may not be at the Direct, because Pokemon lately has been holding their own Pokemon Presents to promote those games. But you have a big fall and holiday lineup for Nintendo that they need to show us more footage on before we actually close out the holiday season. And I think you do something like that at a Direct, and I do think it still happens this month. I would be surprised, but it's definitely possible that it slides into October, maybe the first week of October. I don't see them going any further out than that, but you know, Nintendo likes to do Nintendo things at the end of the day, which is that we can't really call or predict exactly what they're planning at any point in time, and that's what makes them fun to report on more than anybody else, because you never know what's up their sleeve. And then my big wish list game that I would love to see at a September Nintendo Direct, but that I'm not really holding out hope or expectations for any longer, is these Zelda 35th games that we expected to be part of the anniversary, at least 2 of them, because I think they're already done and I think they're ready to go, and I think Nintendo's just waiting to release them for when they need them. But that is Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD. There's also a lot of talks about an Ocarina of Time HD remake, which I would buy that full price day one, but I do think that that would be something that will kind of be released down the line in its own window, as opposed to these Wind Waker and Twilight Princess games are most likely already done because they were already up-res to HD on the Wii U. You would just need to make some really minor button control changes from the gamepad, and you're ready to sell them at full price on the Switch. And that's actually what I think Nintendo will do, unless if they throw us a surprise curveball and say, oh, by the way, since it is Zelda's 35th year still, we're going to sell them in a combo pack. But the only way I see a combo pack happening is if they attach it to the 35th anniversary and not just say, oh, here's your 2-in-1 game, because Nintendo's just never does that. They've never done that with any of their other Wii U ports. They've all sold them at a full retail price individually. So if it's not attached to anything like a Zelda 35th logo, I don't think that we're going to get those in a combo pack, but I will still buy them separately. And I know that's sometimes an unpopular opinion online, but you know, I'm one of those Nintendo fans and one of those Zelda fans that the more Zelda games you give me on the Switch, I will happily pay full price. But guys, that's kind of my take on everything right now from where we're sitting. And you know, obviously we're more than halfway through the month with still no official announcement. But at this point in the video, I want to hear from you on everything that you're expecting as far as the September Nintendo Direct. Do you think we're still getting it, or do you think we're in the are you in the camp of where, you know, you think no, they would have announced it by now and we're probably not going to see any further announcements from Nintendo through the rest of the holiday season, outside of just like Twitter drops and, you know, little smaller game trailer type of announcements like we typically see them do throughout the year? So please share all your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below before you do leave the video. And then definitely let me know if you are expecting a September Nintendo Direct, what games you really hope we see featured there the most. And if you think we'll get any major new announcements, like I'm kind of thinking maybe 1 or 2 new announcements, or if you think that it'll all be on existing games that we kind of already know about and they will just be showcasing more details of them. So I do look forward to getting a back and forth conversation started with you all around this topic. Thanks so much for watching the video today, everyone. I do truly appreciate you all sticking around until the end. I do at this point in the video want to invite you all one more time to join Sunbro Nation if you haven't done so already. Do so by subscribing below, hit the like button on your way out if you enjoyed it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. That's going to do it for me, guys. I hope you all have a great day. Sunbro Nation, out.